Hey there, everybody. So, while you would normally be tuning into our regular podcast, this time you will be watching our podcast. We also have a very special interview with none other than Charles Boyd, the creative director of Star Wars The Old Republic. Very cool. And since this is the Imperial Army, we are going to run a Flashpoint. We're going to save Korriban with Charles. And I hope you all enjoy the video. Welcome, Charles, to our podcast. I am Dee Winchester, and with us we have our other co-hosts.
I'm Obi-Wan.
And I'm Rikiki Kyoto.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we've been psyched for a while to get you on here. This is our ship. If you wanted to look around while we get the Luke quest going.
Can I admit something here? I have actually only been on guild ships when we were building them and developing them. I've never actually been on a live player's guild ship.
Oh, really?
I tend to run solo quite a bit. I'm secretly an introvert at home, but so I get to. This is my first time actually checking out somebody's real live work, in person. I've seen like YouTube screenshots and such.
Well, ours
is the real deal.
Ours is Imperial from top to bottom.
I can see that. It's gorgeous.
We don't have any of these silly, like, casinos on the bridge or anything like that.
You run a tight ship, literally.
Yeah. We do have a lounge, though, on the crew level. But we can do the... if you want the ship tour... we can probably do that after we get back from saving Korriban. What do you guys think? D?
Well, that works for me. Yes.
And then we'll start asking questions once the blaster bolts are flying, so that he's under a little bit of stress and might give away more than he should. While she gets us queued up for the mission, you're running a mercenary?
Yes. Sorry, one sec. Is it Innovative Ordnance? I usually play a Assault Commando, so I'm having to remember what the mirror is. Yes. Innovative Ordnance.
I see you're wearing the Mando armor, and you've got the new guns.
Oh, yeah.
Those are awfully nice. I like how they open up.
Alright, I am ready to cue the group. If you are.
Ready.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So, we're running this with 3 DPS and 1 heal.
Are we doing story or veteran?
D, what do we queue for?
Oh, I believe I queued us for veteran?
That's fine.
I think.
Might get a little dicey.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say about healing in all DPS group, right? It's a tankless job.
You were planning on that the whole time, weren't you?
I've been holding that in my pocket, yeah, for a little while.
I like how y'all are all in matched uniforms, even.
Yeah, this is our guild armor. It's the red McCab. We don't make it easy. You gotta go get champion on McCab if you want the guild armor.
Got standards. What's wrong with that?
We're also going to be taking 2 people in this armor to Celebration 8.
Oh, nice.
Okay, Dee, I think you had the first question on the list, right?
Correct. Ooh, one moment. There we go.
And of course, if there's anything you can't tell us, we understand, and
Of course. I'll let you know.
then I'll just let you die on the next fight. It's cool.
Well, we have had a few hints as far as like 5.2, our next up. Is there any more that you can like kind of, give us an idea of what's coming other than what we already know?
I think we've pretty much announced everything we're planning on putting out with 5.2. We've got the daily area with the the central storyline plus repeatable quests after. Hold on. I'm on push to talk, so I can't move and talk at the same time.
Yeah, I know. I need to fix that as well. I have the same problem.
If you were just running a Naga mouse, you put push to talk as the one button. No problems. This podcast is not sponsored by Razer.
I think I actually do. My mouse has way more buttons on it than it needs, but maybe I'll try that. But yeah, so we've got the daily area, we've got Crit Path, we've got companions coming back, Alara and Quinn. We've got repeatable missions afterward. There's some cool mechanics with those. We've got the Operation Boss story and veteran mode. We've got new gear coming in at the max level for Galactic Command. That's all set bonus. No greens.
All of it's going to have set bonuses?
Yeah, no greens. Everything has set bonus.
Nice. I have a question
We've got
Tide.
improved drop rates for everything. Tiers 1 to 3. And so that drop rate will be a little slower since it is all best gear.
Right.
But still, hopefully feels a little better than what you currently get.
I
It'll
believe
be
we
nice
missed
to
a
have
commander back here.
the spot to get them. Did we miss one?
Yeah, Commander Aleve.
I have a question about Tithe.
Yeah.
Tithe, obviously, is part of the Zakulian Pantheon, right?
Right.
How many bosses are there going to be in that fight? And will we get the whole Pantheon?
In that specific fight, you're just fighting Tithe.
Right, but he's the first boss of the
Right.
greater...
So there are 5 encounters. At least one of them is a double. So you're actually fighting two at once.
That gives 6, right?
Right.
Is the double the sisters?
Ivella and
Can you
Esme.
tell us? Hmm?
That would stand to reason. I'm not quite ready to talk about which is which quite yet, but yeah, that
Of
seems
course.
logical, doesn't it?
It would. It would. My question is, can we expect maybe a bonus or expect to see Zildrog come along at some point?
It's something we talk about. I don't know if we've got anything ready to announce there yet, but that could be really cool. I think it's also depends on how you interpret it, right? It's, there's also a lot of ways you could see the player as Zildrog, depending on how you interpret their combination of myths and stuff.
I like that.
I like to think that Zildrog's a Zillo beast that's going to crawl out of the
you
swamp and wreak havoc.
You could certainly see Valkorion as Zildrog as well. This beast that both challenges you but also educates or puts you on the right path.
Well, it puts you on his right path.
Well, yeah. Well, if you end up on the right path, then does he get credit even if it's not his right path? These are the things that keep you thinking at night.
This is why you're the creative director.
I always think of, did y'all ever watch Conan the Barbarian with Schwarzenegger back in the day?
Yeah.
Oh my.
That whole scene with, oh my gosh, I'm completely blanking on his name. James Earl Jones.
Oh yes, our very own Vader. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, it has been a long time since I thought about that show.
You know, he has
like,
this whole
around when they made the really bad reboot.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
You know, he has that whole speech where, you know, Conan's like, "Hey man, you totally ruined my life. You killed my family. You did all these things." He's like, "Well, yeah, but look at what you've become because of that. Like, don't I get credit for that?"
Or a much shorter version is A Man Named Sue by Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a question. Guilds are known to be the most loyal of the player base. Guilds stick around and subscribe for the longest. They've also been having a little trouble with the content being mostly single player based.
Right.
Is there content that guilds can look forward to in the next year coming? Like things that are guild centric?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously the operation stuff tends to be guild centric, depending on your guild focus. But we've also got other pieces coming out a little later in the year that'll be, like we said, the focus this year is on multiplayer repeatable stuff. So the daily area is just the first thing.
Right. We've got a really nice Star Destroyer sitting up in space. We'd like to, go do something with it.
Ooh, yeah.
Like more expanded stuff on Conquest, that kind of thing.
Conquest, or if we could have something that the actual guild ships are involved in, like where you can take and maybe, because we can go and park it over certain planets. It'd be interesting to see if we could amass a fleet in a certain area of multiple guilds parking their guild ships, if that could give some sort of a boost to the Empire or something like that.
Right, like a cumulative bonus.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, with the war heating up and stuff in the storyline, you definitely get some opportunities maybe to tie some stuff like that in.
That jumps me kind of to a next a line of questioning we have.
Sure.
We've been doing the sort of Tenebris storyline for a long time now, really since the end of KOTOR. Revan heads off into deep space to find the Emperor,
Right.
and now, years and years later, we just pretty much tied that. As the creative director,
Right.
Where do you go from here? Where's the next step? I mean, we're sitting on the throne of Zakul, spoiler warning, and we could just sit there comfortably, but I don't think the player base would be happy
Wouldn't
with
move
it.
this story forward. We're done.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
won.
I mean, it's absolutely a challenge, right? Like, it's something we thought really hard about as a team. Where do we take the story from here? What do we do that's interesting? How do we have a villain to follow this up that is that could be as cool, that we could care about as much? Be as emotionally invested in, all of that.
It's
It's
interesting
it's
that
tough.
you
And,
mentioned
it's
the new villain.
well, and it's a challenge, right? Like, it's something where it makes you stop and say, well, should we really do that? And we certainly went back and forth a bit on it, but ultimately we decided, we're up for the challenge. You can't just can't not do something just because it's going to make your job harder. You gotta
Right.
go for it. If that's where the story goes, then that's where it goes, and then we'll take on that challenge and do our best.
Well, I like that. I like that you mentioned the new villain and a need for that. I think, and this may not be the thinking of the group, but I think the obvious direction is to go back to Republic versus Empire, at least to a certain degree. I think a lot of the players enjoy that. Which would ask,
Yeah, absolutely.
who's the bad guy? Now, there's two people y'all have in your pocket that I think you could utilize. That's Darth Jadis, who is alive somewhere, we believe.
And our favorite, Malgus.
Darth Malgus.
Everyone's
Who-
favorite.
Who we've been. I'm pretty sure I grinded on you a little bit at Celebration 7 about.
You were not the only one.
I do not think the player base would be upset if we saw a new final form Malgus come and say,
Final form.
yeah,
He's got
Well-
to evolve.
through each of the Blur trailers, which are amazing. If they made a Blur movie, I'd go see it in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah,
But
man.
through the Blur trailers, Malgus kind of like levels up, in each of the
Yeah,
trailers.
yeah.
Part of that thanks to Satil pushing him through a mountain.
Right. That'll tend to change your look a little bit.
So in this last one, the players had it, are the ones who did it. Reluctantly. I was the one in 3 that I was like, nope, it's me, guys. I'm the one who's with Malgus. Just throwing that out there. 2 Sith.
Yeah.
2
Two
really
different options
awesome
there.
Sith.
Yeah, I mean it's tricky. Like we've definitely talked about it a bit with this upcoming update. Like getting back to the Empire versus Republic thing is certainly one of our goals. We want that to feel like a core part of the game again.
I wonder if, and this,
But at the
might
same
be-
time, you definitely need a villain that works whether they picked one or the other.
right?
Ideally. So we'll that will be revealed. I'd hate to get out ahead of that because I think it's going to be a really fun moment. But I expect to get lots of interesting messages on Twitter when it happens.
Oh.
Is it Kai Zyken?
I am prepared to confirm that it is not Kai Zyken.
Oh.
Sorry, we pulled.
Oh,
Or the Acolytes did.
I
Yep.
believe it was, yeah.
blame it on the acolytes.
But you guys wanted them to fight. I told them to go home.
Oh. Now I am a Sith. They get to work.
All right. Well, I've got a
Kirito, I
question.
think you had the next. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Are there any plans for downtime activities like adding mini games or something like Pazak or something like that?
Yeah. Oh, hold on one sec. Let me recharge here for a sec. Yeah, I mean, it's something we always talk about internally. I think it's been on the Wall of Crazy since years before launch, even. Nothing to announce in that direction right now. Like we definitely have some kind of new ideas we want to play with and develop here internally before we put them out to people. But one of our goals this year is definitely to communicate a little more, get out ahead of things a little more, get y'all's input a little more early on. So as we do that, that'll hopefully be a part of it. I know that's an impossibly vague answer, but there's definitely some cool stuff down the pipe that we're excited about. We'll want to try to get y'all's thoughts on a little better than we've been doing in the past.
Well,
And
we've got a slot machine on our ship, and it's just it's not enough. We need more.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind sitting around a table playing games with other players. Maybe betting a few credits on it here and there.
And a rep vendor could work really good if you had like a little casino area.
Yeah.
ooh, this is one of those fights where you have to watch where you step. I forget about that all the time. All of a sudden, why am I blowing up? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man. More missiles flying around, the better.
Oh yeah. Stay on your toes. So then, as far as having people kind of giving their input, like you had mentioned, I know at the last celebration you guys were able to tease a little bit about the last expansion. Will they have that opportunity to hear, more information at C8? I mean, because we're going to be there, and we're
Definitely.
very curious. If
Yeah,
we'll
I mean,
be
I
hearing...
can't. We won't, get ahead of what that will be, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, we'll absolutely have some new stuff to talk about at Celebration. I'm so looking forward to it.
Oh man, same
A
here.
wristband
I'm
with
so
an
excited.
incredibly ominous statement that you won't explain at all.
May not be quite that far.
Do y'all have any
Hey,
special
can y'all hang
plans?
on? Hold on one sec. Let me. Suddenly my game audio kicked back on, and I can't hear anything y'all are saying. Give me one sec to fix that.
Sure.
Okay, probably hit Control S or Shift S, whichever one.
All right, how about now?
Good.
There we go. Yeah, that's much better.
All right.
I love the sound in our game. It is not conducive to interviews.
Y'all had a fantastic panel at the last celebration. Blew all the other panels and things away. There were,
Oh, thank you.
hors d'oeuvres and everything. It was the highlight of the trip.
Yeah,
y'all-
we're nailing down some of the plans right now, so I think Musco will have some stuff to announce on that. He's in the room here. I'm glancing in his direction. Celebration. Yeah, so it'll be Friday evening. We've said where it will be. It's the Hilton. It's at the Hilton, the one right across from the convention center. But further details to come as soon as we have them fully nailed down.
Are you gonna try to one up last celebration?
We'll see. I always like to go bigger and better. I don't know if we'll have any ominous wristbands like you mentioned, but should be a lot of fun. The stuff we've got planned is a good time. I'll be interested to see how folks do with it.
Awesome.
Save that quote and then come up to me at the party and let me know how we did.
Oh, we will. And in fact, we were hoping to, because we are going to be at Celebration in mass. We're going to have 8 or 9 people there, I think, from our guild.
That's hardcore.
And yeah, definitely going to be at the Bioware thing. I'm going to be dressed as Darth Barris, and then we're going to have our troopers.
Nice.
We were also wondering if maybe we could, as a guild, buy some of y'all lunch or something while y'all are at Celebration.
Oh, you don't have to buy us lunch or anything. But we can definitely hang out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Sorry, did I let the button? Yeah. Okay, good. I was worried I'd let go of the button too early.
And
Yes,
that's
we should definitely hang out.
So, D, you had, I think, a question about Filoni, Dave Filoni.
Oh, yes. So he confirmed Kanan's quote in Rebels. We love Rebels.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah. the history lesson, the Jedi won the war with Mandalore. That was like a direct reference to KOTOR. I mean,
Yeah, Filoni confirmed it was a direct reference.
That's cool.
Like, do y'all, is that something that's, y'all see and get really excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's not something that we get asked about ahead of time or anything. The story group kind of handles all that at Lucasfilm. But just watching the show, seeing it happen, I was like, oh man, were they talking about ours? So kind of just the same as the fans do, so or as any other fan does. So yeah, that's really cool to hear.
I've got a follow-up question with that. Is TOR considered canon yet, or is it still getting batted around?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's battered around. We're so far back in the past that I don't think it's really even relevant. It's kind of that. What is the expression? It's canon until it's contradicted, something like that.
Schrodinger's fat.
Sort of. I mean, if you
Yeah.
were to do, if you were to take that title of Legends, say, at face value, what would make sense if not something that happened, thousands of years in the past and had these huge, larger than life figures like Revan. I don't see that as a detriment or as a problematic to the story or anything. So I just don't even think about it. If I'm honest. Everything we do is still reviewed by the Lucas story team. Everything we do is still vetted and involved, and we do our best to match up with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, that was
if there's a difference, I don't see it day to day.
Yeah, that was sort of the next question was, what is y'all's relationship with the story team, or are y'all turning in your plans like on a daily, weekly basis? Do y'all talk to Pablo Hidalgo and do they like shut things down sometimes?
Yeah, we definitely talk to them. I wouldn't say daily. We've all got plenty to do. But yeah, we're definitely in regular contact with them. We send every story overview to them. All of the dialogue goes over there. They have a production team that plays everything we create to check it out, make sure it is both cool but also consistent with the story and all that. So they're very much involved with everything we do, and honestly it's a great relationship. I mean, we're very committed to it being as Star Warsy as possible before it ever even gets to their hands. So it's pretty rare that they need to tell us to do something or not do something. But it does happen. There are lots of projects in the works right now, so there's always going to be things that we don't know about that they do and that they cannot tell us about, which is totally fair. So occasionally we'll be directed away from one thing or another, and then we get to theorize about why.
Right. Well, you all still want to go.
But yeah,
you all still want to go see the movies and have fun.
Exactly. So that's that's not a bad thing as far as I'm concerned.
Was there a collective cheer when the Hammerhead cruiser became so significant in Rogue One?
Yeah, that was awesome.
This is Darth Malgus. There is a new danger coming, one the Empire nor the Republic are suited to encounter. It will raze both to the ground and leave nothing but embers. From these embers, the Sith Empire can rise again. If the Empire is to truly rebuild itself from the ashes, I believe the Relentless and the 47th must be around as an example, to find those seeds left unharmed and cultivate them to be something greater.
Loved Rogue One. It was such a great movie. Saw it
I
about
really had a great time at that one. I think I saw it 4 times in the theater.
I have a 10-year-old daughter who loves Star Wars as much as I do, so it was great taking her to see it. She loved it.
Nice.
I
That's
saw
one
it
of my
my
favorite
fourth
things
time
about
just
Star
the other day.
Wars and about going to Celebration and all that. It's just the family angle, you know.
Oh yeah.
See so many generations all there at once enjoying this all together.
Well, you're also like a next level Star Wars fan too, right? 'Cause
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm inclined to like it to begin with, but you know, like Celebration is my favorite convention just because it's so welcoming and everyone there is just so jazzed. You get to see
Right.
little kids dressed up in costume, grandparents dressed up in costumes. You know, everybody's there, bringing their love, whether they know
You're
every random detail of Mandalore the Ultimate or they've just seen the movies and they like them.
you're quite the cosplayer yourself.
I suppose. I mean, I think there's always levels far beyond anything that I do, but yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Your trooper armor is fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out whether I'm going to bring that to Celebration or not. It's getting a little long in the tooth now. I'm worried something will break if I try to ship it,
Ooh. Yeah.
but we'll see.
Just
If there's a time to wear it, that's it, right?
just wear it onto the plane.
Oh, there you go. I think it's all the sitting down and standing up I've done in it that has caused these problems. If I'm honest. So that might not actually help.
Well, you can wear it to any old thing, to the dentist or grocery shopping.
Alright, so who's got the next question?
I think Dee's got one about the character writing.
Oh yes, I enjoy your writing quite a bit as well, and I am curious to know your favorite character or companion that you really enjoyed writing the most.
Oh my, I'm not even sure how to pick a favorite.
They're all your babies.
Yeah,
Sophie's Choice and all that.
They're all fun for different reasons, right?
Sure.
Did you write Kai?
I wrote a little bit of Kai Zyken, yeah. He, of course, was a lot of fun to do. For looking just at the trooper companions from back in the day, obviously I loved writing Alara, doing that whole romance storyline, especially. I'm a big geek for that in Bioware games, so I really enjoy doing that. She's just such a fun character. She kind of sets it up and seems like she's one way, and then you kind of get to explore, the depths as you get to know her better, which is always cool.
We love Alara here.
And I enjoy seeing people, debate who she would or would not like among the other companions, and get into deep, conversations about people's morality and codes of ethics and stuff. It's just cool when you can see a character inspire that level of discussion. I loved writing M14X.
Yeah, M14X is pretty great too.
That was just one where the writing, the character model, the voiceover all just really came together perfectly to do what I had wanted to do.
I think Rikirto had a question about Alara, actually.
I do.
Go for it.
She's actually my favorite companion, even though I am Imperial at heart. And seeing as how she's coming back, is there any way that we can get her to come back to where she belongs?
I am afraid not. No, Alara is very much in that mindset. So you can, if you are an Imperial character and you choose to side with the Republic, she might work along with you. But if you stay with the Empire, she's not interested.
So, should we be expecting a lasting decision with 5.2? Or can we be like, grab Alara and then bring her back?
Like make it choose one way and then choose the other once you've got her?
Yeah.
I'd rather not have that happen. But we'll see. We've definitely looked at, especially when it comes down to like the repeatable missions. It might be more convenient to let players kind of choose day to day which side they want to fight with. If they're playing with different friends, or they're running with a guild versus a group of friends and they pick different ones. Maybe opening that up to where players could change that decision for the sake of gameplay. But as far as the story was concerned, it would remember what you chose in the story.
Right. Well, then I'm sorry, Alara.
Guess I'm stuck with Lana then.
Malabar.
Yeah, talk about it. That's talking more recent characters. Lana is just such a fun character to write.
Yeah, I like Lana a lot. I like the dynamic between Lana and Theron.
Yeah,
I'm not a
they
big
play off each
Theron
other
fan,
really well.
just because he's a dirty pub. But
yeah, it was really fun. We really set out with Lana to make a Sith who was not like other Sith, who wasn't just psychotic and mean for the sake of it.
I think that's a really important part of this game. Like from the start, when you do a Sith warrior, I think this is actually a quest you can do as both. But no, it's definitely Sith warrior. Your main handler, when you first get here, sends you down to the bay where they have the prisoners.
Right.
And you have a decision to make with 3 of the prisoners. And you can do just the evil for
I torture them
sake.
to death.
Yeah. And you get back and he tells you, why did you do that? The dark side isn't about just doing the meanest thing you can.
Right.
And I thought that was great, especially to put on the initial planet while you're doing it. Because I think that the one reason we like this game is the nuances.
Yeah, it was definitely something that was the goal of that, right? Was to kind of set up early on, help people change, their perceptions of how they should play, perhaps. Maybe not how they should play, but what does it mean to be a Sith? And really, kind of challenge them right from the beginning, so that kind of opens up the whole game a little more.
Yeah, I know when I first started the game and I first rolled up a Sith, I was, kill everything, power is mine. But later on, I started becoming more of a gray Sith. I was sparing people, helping people, not really just killing everything that moved.
Yeah, it's fun to explore those gray areas, the edges there.
Yeah, and speaking of the enlightened Sith, and we spoke a little bit about Malgus earlier and his, kind of taking the teachings of Revan and saying, include the aliens, just, make it a stronger empire. And we also have seen very recently a enlightened ghost Darth Mar. I know we're big fans of Ghost Mar. Might we see him more in the future? And possibly explore more his relationship with Satele? Because that was one of the coolest things I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of the expansion.
Nothing specific to announce right now, of course, but I think you could definitely expect to see more out of that. We don't have anything in the April update around that. It's pretty focused on Iokath, Republic Empire, that kind of thing. But that's certainly a part of the story that I'm really excited to explore more. So I think it's something that we're very likely to touch on again.
Awesome.
They've breached the front entrance. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that mission specifically, the one where you go down with the Inquisitor and interrogate the different prisoners. That's actually for a couple years, I think, was our training mission for new designers, and even new cinematics was to essentially implement that mission, because it was a great chance to learn both the basic stuff like send a player to this objective, have them click things, but also it's a fairly complex in terms of the player makes lots of different decisions that lead to other cascading decisions and setting different variables and all of that. So it was a really good kind of proving ground for all the things that you can do in a quest in this game, at the basic level.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so it's everyone, almost everyone in the building, it feels like, has built that quest at least once.
Well, I mean, it's a wonderful quest. I mean, it's stuck with me this long.
Yeah.
Ooh. My screen keeps showing me as being underneath the ground.
That's gonna be troublesome.
Well, you have a lightsaber. Yeah. Figure it out.
It pops up and.
I'm being contained.
I'm getting him.
You had a question about his career journey?
Yes, a lot of people aren't 100% sure what the depth. Oh, I'm contained, by the way.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Oh, yes. Okay. As far as your journey to becoming a creative director, if you can expand upon like what brought you to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I started out as a member of the writing team.
Mm-hmm.
I basically went in straight from college. We essentially, I saw a comic on Penny Arcade that mentioned that there was a Bioware studio opening in Austin.
Oh, I love Penny Arcade.
And I happened to be graduating from the University of Texas in Austin a few months after that. So I'm contained now. So I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to look at that, because I wanted to be in game design and story and stuff. The entire time I was in college, from high school even, that was the career I wanted to pursue. So I saw that they were hiring writers, and I wouldn't say that was kind of my first thought necessarily, but as I kind of explored what a writer at Bioware does. It's a lot more than just writing dialogue. A lot of game companies hire on a writer on a contract basis. They just kind of come in after the designers have built everything and kind of try to tie it all together in some way, right?
Right.
But at Bioware, it's the other way around. Like the writing actually comes first. Working alongside the designers, we want it to be a great, immersive, continuous experience where everything ties together. Mm-hmm. But the story, is the first goal of anything we make.
Right, it's like the
right
start-off jumping point for
exactly.
everything.
So there's a lot more design to being a writer at Bioware, and it was kind of the type of design that I had, when I had thought of game designer, what I had actually been thinking of was more or less a Bioware writer, which was really interesting. So I was, I had done. Oh, sorry, I let go of the button. My bad. I had done some writing and stuff here and there in my free time. I wasn't like a creative writing major or anything. I was actually a radio, television, and film major.
Oh, yeah?
And so, the part of the application was a writing test. So you create a writing sample in, back then it was Neverwinter Nights. And I was just fortunate enough that mine stood out. I was able to get a job out of it. So
it was basically BioWare, and being a part of that team kind of inspired you, so to speak, to make that your full-time career.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rare for someone to stay at one game company for as long as I have. I've been at BioWare about 10 and a half years now. And been on this project basically the entire time, which is also fairly rare. most people would be on their 5th or 6th game project, and maybe their 2nd or 3rd company by this point. So it's been a really awesome experience. I feel very fortunate. And but yeah, so you were kind of asking about kind of the path overall.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of from there, I was the primary writer for the Trooper. So I basically wrote everything in the Trooper except the Jorgen companion-specific sections. That was a guy named Tyler Hitching, who I thought did an excellent job with my baby Jorgen. And he's a tough guy to get right. He was someone who comes across very harsh, but then you kind of get to know him and realize there's a lot more going on.
Oh yeah,
So,
I
feel like he
female
nailed
trooper. Oh, my romance wasn't with Alara; it was with him.
Yeah, so that I felt really good about. I really enjoyed it. It was the first thing I'd ever professionally done in terms of writing. So there's certainly a lot of it that I love and look back on fondly, and there's a lot of it that I would change if I had any power to do so. I think that's how every creative person feels about the things they do, whether it's the first thing or the 100th thing. There's always things you would change.
Making things is editing, writing is rewriting.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
So but it was a lot of fun. It was my first pick of what to write, so I felt really good about getting it.
Well, the first tip I'd say is at the end of Ord Mantell, you should be able to go with them and join the Empire. That was
absolutely brought up from the beginning, and we said, well, you went to character create and picked Republic Trooper, so sorry. That one choice we have to make you stick to, unfortunately. There were definitely times in the early goings where we talked about having stuff like that. It just never made it into the final design of the game to let people switch factions like that. It was been too complex, too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, how do you just for if you're thinking of the 1/8 of people who chose the Trooper, right? You split that in half for the people who chose the Imperial Trooper. Well, now you wrote an entire storyline.
Yeah.
Well,
and then it's like, so do we then make that an option for all the classes? And then arbitrarily all classes have to get that choice at the same time, which, isn't going to be the right thing for every story. And,
which means they need twice as many of you.
Right. We already had quite a few of us to begin with. So yeah, but no, so I wrote the Trooper, that was my main job for years, doing the storylines, doing the companion storylines. And then post-launch, I worked on several of the... and along the way, I also did some Flashpoints and stuff, like I did Esselies.
Oh, yeah? Is that how you say it? Esselies?
That's how I say it. I forget what we actually had the actors record. I've heard Essels. I've heard Esselis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something interesting about
sounds like a Greek hero or something. I don't know. For some reason, that's what rolls off my tongue. But whatever the actors say is correct.
Something interesting about the S-list is in game testing, there was a gambling table that if you clicked on it on the S-list...
One of the biggest trolls in our history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually know who put that in. But yeah, they were messing with people. That was never... like I said, mini games like that have been in the plans, have been something we've been wanting to do, forever. But it was never an actual thing that got implemented or was about to be implemented. So that was just somebody being cruel.
For anyone who's listening and doesn't know, on the S-list early on, I was in super early testing, so it's hard for me to gauge the timelines. But there was a table right in the very first room, and if you clicked on it, it'd say, like, waiting for other players or not enough other players to start game, as like a system response. So everyone thought that it was confirmation. Gambling is gonna, the game tables are gonna be in the game.
Oh, that is too good.
Yeah. So, and then after launch, we worked on Rise of the Hutt Cartel. We worked on more, flashpoints like Zerka. We did more operations like all the Dreadmaster stuff. And just, slowly I worked my way up, and eventually I became the lead writer. I think that was somewhere around... It was after Rise of the Hutt Cartel came out, but before Shadow of Revan. Maybe it was around the Dreadmasters as we were finishing that out, the Oricon. I honestly forget at this point. It's been so long.
It all just bleeds together.
Yeah, it's been too long now. So I kind of took over in that role, and was in that role for, I guess, 2 or 3 years. I guess something like that, up through Knights of the Fallen Empire's initial launch, and then as we started working and putting together the follow-up chapters to that, I moved up to kind of what we called the lead designer creative lead, as we finished out those chapters, which is sort of the baby creative director, I guess you'd describe it. So I kind of oversaw all of those monthly chapters, certainly learned a lot of lessons there, and a lot of stuff that we were able to fortunately apply to Knights of the Eternal Throne. And it was for Knights of the Eternal Throne that I moved up to creative director. So I was essentially over all of that, from the sort of design and creative aspects. So not just the story, but the layouts, the places you go, the gameplay, adding the new stuff, like piloting walkers and things like that, Uprising, Galactic Command, all of it. So that's where I ended up. And here I am today.
Awesome.
Quite a journey.
Yes.
Is it a lot of fun when they bring in like Drew Karpyshyn to work on some story? I mean, as far as the Old Republic goes, he made Revan. I mean, he pretty much made it.
Yeah. I mean, and Drew's just such a cool guy. Like, he's so chill. He's really fun to work with. So sharp, so smart. He can immediately suggest 10 things that will fix any story that you propose to him, and it's just a huge pleasure to have him around, and a huge help to the team.
Cool. Rikirto, did you want to ask about of the Kotet chapters?
Yeah. Which one was your favorite one?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with, let's see, because 8 and 9 obviously is where all the big stuff goes down. So those are pretty epic. 1 was cool because it was the first time you get to drive that walker. That always feels amazing. But if I have to pick, my actual favorite is actually is it chapter 6? That's the one where you're in Valen's penthouse.
Yes, you're a spy. I love it.
Yes.
My favorite one too.
That's the
it was
best
so
one.
much fun to do something very different from any other chapter or storyline that we'd done. So that was why I just really loved that one. It was a totally unique, kind of different experience. So if I had to pick a favorite, I'll go with that one. We got to do something new and interesting there. Really set it apart.
Well, that has my vote. If y'all are thinking like, maybe should we do more of these kind of run around, explore, solve mysteries quests? Yes, I say
cool.
Yes.
I would have to agree.
Another vote from me.
Done. It's sold.
Stamped.
Approved.
What is your relationship with Pablo Hidalgo?
So I have never actually gotten to meet him in person, but he's been on I think some calls and emails and things like that that we do. So I wouldn't want to, we obviously have a business relationship that he reviews things and we see his feedback sometimes along with others from the story team. But I cannot say to have had the pleasure, other than occasionally messaging him on Twitter. But he seems like a cool dude.
So have you ever had something that like you wrote and you thought was was solid, and they're like, actually, the blank 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 didn't exist until this time. So
honestly,
go back.
not
and
that
you're
I
like,
can think
oh.
of. Usually it's more like something that's going to happen is kind of maybe similar, and that's me interpreting it. But I feel like it's more, hey, let's steer away from this thing because we might want to do something with that. Stuff like that more than trivial. I'm going to say trivial, and by that I mean trivia as in factoids and information like this didn't exist yet or that kind of thing. Not trivial
Gotcha.
as in unimportant. So more details like that we at least try very hard to be good at and research for ourselves before we ever send it, or we'll just ask them flat out from the start, hey, we want to do something like this. What do you think? Does that fit in? And they'll kind of give us the heads up there.
Cool. So when y'all were like, we want Theron just to be obsessed with his grandfather and then wear a mask and have a crossguard saber, you're like, no, better not do that.
We should check.
Yeah. We're going to steer away from that.
Nice. Well, I would like to definitely thank you for the interview.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
Do you want to lead us?
I'd love to do it again sometime. We can run. We can run Tython next.
Well, we are here. We'll whenever you want to log in and run something, let us know.
Excellent.
As far as if you want to do something soon, maybe after 5.2, we'd love to have you on and do Tython and do a second interview round.
Yeah, or maybe we could run around the Iokath daily area some.
The last, I like that idea a lot. The last very important question I have is a super serious one.
Oh.
What do you really think of Eric?
Well, he's in the room, so
side eye.
I got you. I got you. Wink, wink.
I would be blinking to you in Morse code if we had the camera. No, I love Eric. Eric is, I think, one of the most awesome folks on the team. I've had the pleasure of being on many long flights and long trips with him. So if I didn't like him, it would have been a problem by now. So I feel very fortunate to have him in that role.
In all seriousness, it does, like on the streams and any videos or interactions I've seen, the Bioware team just seems to be the best team there is. Everyone seems to like each other a lot and have a lot of fun and really love what they're doing.
Like I said, I feel so fortunate to be where I am and to have been here for so long and to have so many awesome people to work with. It's definitely hard work. It's challenging. Things go wrong sometimes, but
that's very similar.
It's so amazing. You can't complain.
It's very similar to how our guild, Imperial Army, is. We've been 13 years together as a guild.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
since
we are
Galaxy's
family.
Beta.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We have had highs and lows, but all together, we just love each other. We're family for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. This celebration is our third celebration as a guild and our sixth get together where people tripped out. We're road tripping from Texas to Orlando for this.
Yeah.
For this.
That is a drive.
Yeah, there's going to be 6 of us, I think, road tripping.
Yes.
And at last celebration, we got an RV and 7 of us road tripped to Anaheim from Texas.
Wow.
So,
are y'all doing that again?
No, we're doing 2 cars this time.
Gotcha.
But we do have an amazing townhome out in Orlando that we have. So beautiful.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, there you have it. I wanted to thank everybody for joining us and watching our video. Once again, a huge thank you to Charles Boyd and team for joining us tonight.
Yes, definitely.
I had a blast, and I appreciate it so very much.
Can't wait to do it again. Looking at 5.2 on Iokath. And you can check our Twitter and our website too when we'll be posting that.
Yes, that's right. Follow us on Twitter at Imperial Army 47.
And if any of you are interested in joining our guild, feel free to go to imperialarmy.org and you can apply from there.
That's our show. Opie dopey.
Omidopey.
Omidopey.